Humans in their nature are ugly creatures. Deep inside, they are horrendous and immoral animals that are beyond incomprehensible. And so trying to understand them as a foreign being can be extremely difficult. Decim is an alien bartender who is partly in charge of judging which people get reincarnated or sent into the void forever. This is done by putting them through a unique trial in which the people taking them are told rather that whoever among the group wins the game will live while the others will die. Participants have their memories wiped and take the trial with a certain amount of people that died at the exact same time. And slowly but surely, as the trial continues, the individuals start to remember piece by piece what happened leading up to their deaths. And through the emotions each person reacts with, Decim is able to decide who is truly a well-hearted person and who is not. Some forgive others, some become angry and destroyed beyond repair, and some simply fall into a speechless despair. Decim constantly searches for some form of pattern, some form of algorithm that humans follow that lead to their corresponding responses. But even through countless testings and judgments, he is still stuck, struggling to grasp the core essence of the human species. But then one day he encounters a certain girl who goes by the name of Chiyuki. She walks forwards towards the bartender, confused and disappointed, muttering the words, "I'm dead, aren't I?" Since she still has her memories, Decim decides to delay her trial. And with the short amount of time that she spends together with him, his perspective begins to drastically change as he begins to learn more about the human nature. And at the same time, Chiyuki also begins to learn more about her own race. By putting humans through these excruciating and cruel trials, their truest form becomes exposed. Within such situations, these individuals can no longer get away with putting up the facade that they may have been able to keep up when they were alive. Instead, these tests were specifically designed in order to drive the people taking them into pure insanity, to break them and to draw out the darkest parts of their souls. And only then will their crude identity be revealed. Some people are able to stay kind and happy through to their very core, but others can be unimaginably formidable. But nonetheless, every single person has some type of flaw hidden within them, whether it be disturbing or not. And to determine which souls go to where is based on the degree of how severe that flaw may be. But this method of judging people through their worst and not rather their best is something that Chiyuki deeply disagrees with, to the point where she wishes to change it. Throughout this show, we can see her sometimes begging Decim to change his ways and to instead look at the amazing parts that each human may have. Every person can have their flaws, but they also always have a good heart deep within. And ignoring that can lead to many incorrect judgments, some that we have already seen in this show. So to have such a pessimistic outlook on the human species would make him forget any kind actions that they may have committed. To put into consideration the whole of the human heart and not just its negative sides is crucial to making a prudent judgment. And as this anime goes on, this view begins to change Decim. He becomes more emotionally attached to the people that he is testing, and therefore gives them more value and weight by empathizing with them in a sense. This, without him realizing it, gives Decim the power to experience human emotions, something that other arbiters do not have. And so as he takes in more people, he's able to give a much more thoughtful judgment. And that is why by the end of Death Parade, the smile that he wears on his face holds so much weight. It symbolizes his growth as a character from an originally emotionless creature to someone who can balance practicality hand in hand with emotions. And so the anime ends with the feeling of happiness in our hearts. Decim's long quest on understanding humans has finally ended, and now we know with confidence that he will go on to evaluate the vices and virtues in each person with a much shrewder outlook than what we saw in the events of the show. To me, this anime is not only an anthology of tragic human cases. Instead, this show uses that as a tool to progress Decim as a character with Chiyuki as a guide, as she gives her own personal take on who should be reincarnated and who should not. So this begins to affect Decim as he grows more emotional. You can see that the other arbiters are slowly growing more distant from him. And we are able to get a good look on how most arbiters normally operate through Ginty, an emotionless creature who instead looks down on humans and purely views them as flawed beings. And while although Chiyuki may not have been able to change Ginty, I believe that Decim's new way of judging will slowly be able to influence him as well as other arbiters, so that eventually all of them will have the power to put into consideration their emotions and not simply their deepest and darkest flaws. And overall, this anime is quite a dark one in its nature. It explores the blemishes that are hidden deep down in each person's soul, and as multiple people interact with each other with these blemishes exposed, it can make for a very intriguing character dynamic that can truly get you invested into the story. Decim's development is also something that is quite interesting to watch, and overall this show is quite amazing. This anime can make to be more entertaining if you are into psychological thrillers and horror, and combined with an overarching character progression that was executed so well, I ended up enjoying this show a lot for the 12 episodes that it lasted. The music in the show is also fantastic, so if you are a bit of a music stan when it comes down to anime, I also do recommend you give this show a watch. If everything I just said ticks your boxes, then you should definitely watch this anime. But otherwise, that's all I have to say about this show for today. Well, this is the end of the video. I really do hope you all enjoyed it. Comment down your favorite part of this anime, or if you haven't seen it yet, your favorite show. If you've made it this far, you're a real one. If you did manage to make it this far, that probably means that you enjoyed this video, so please be sure to hit that like button. It's free and it will encourage me so much to keep making more videos. Consider subscribing if you want to see more content like this, and be sure to ring that bell. Otherwise, I hope to see you all soon. Peace.
Let me in, you don't saving. Out of time, growing impatient. Molly build another line, know that you hate it. We keep going back and forth with each other. I gave you my heart, but don't break it.